Hi, Monique. So there's actually two ways to get there. Completing the square is one of them, and it's the one that I find students aren't that great at. So here's the other one, which you actually probably do already know. If I have this function, change that to black so it shows up better. F of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 7. Oops, plus. What it's asking me to find, the HK is essentially just the vertex, and that's, once we know the vertex, we're just going to plug it right in there. A, because this is a plane x squared, we know that A is 1. If this had been negative 3 out front, we would know A is negative 3, so it's just whatever is in front there. So what we could do, this was probably a 5.3 question, but we could do it the 5.4 way as well, which was where we say, actually, let me use H there. The x-coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. So with that, I can say negative 6 over 2 times 1 and get negative 3. And then to find the y-coordinate, so that's I'm looking for h comma k, right? And I got the negative 3. So to get the y-coordinate that goes with it, I'm just going to plug it right back in here, and then that will get me its corresponding y. So negative 3, careful to do that quantity squared because that makes it positive 9 because you're really saying negative 3 times negative 3 there. So a really common spot for an error. Negative 3 here and plus 7. So that would be 9 minus 18 plus 7, which is, let's see, 16 minus 18, so negative 2. So that gives me a k of negative 2. So then that gets your AHK. If we were to write this out, which we don't have to, but here it is, it would be x minus negative 3, so that'd be a plus 3. Sometimes that messes people up, and then minus 2 on the end. Let me do one more of these with a little bit different numbers, and this one doesn't have x-intercepts, and so that's why I want to do a different problem. But let me show you, like in terms of the test, kind of all the things that I would ask for on a problem similar to this. So let me clear this out, and let's do y equals x squared. Let's see, what did I pick? 4x minus 7. And I would ask for the vertex, kind of all the features, axis of symmetry, x-intercepts, and y-intercept. So let me show you how to just kind of do all the possible things that you'll see on the exam. So for the vertex, you could totally complete the square, and it's not going away. We're going to see it again in chapter 10. It'll be a little bit easier there, though. But again, most people are probably better if they do. Let me do that as an H. I was writing X there, but let me write H. Probably do better than the 5.4 way. So let's go negative b, so negative 4 over 2a. So it looks like that is negative 2, and we'll plug that in to get our y-coordinate, which is like our k. So negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 7. So the k would be 4 minus 8 minus 7. So I think that's negative 11. So that means my vertex is at negative 2 and negative 11. And then that makes the axis of symmetry really easy because it's always just the x-coordinate of the vertex. So the axis would be x equals negative 2. And that would be, if we were graphing this, this would be, the vertex would be down here at like negative 11, negative 2. Probably looks something like that. And the axis of symmetry is right there through the x-coordinate of the vertex. And then for the x-intercepts, for that we're going to need to do the quadratic formula. If it factors, that's great, but they often don't factor, and most of the time they don't factor. And this one doesn't, so let me show you how to do that. So we would say x equals negative b, negative 4, plus or minus 4 squared minus 4ac, so 4 times a is 1 times c is 7. Oops, negative 7, excuse me. and then all over 2a, so 2 times 1. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus 16 plus 28. Let's see, so that'd be 30, 44. Okay, so this one does simplify. I would try to pick something on the exam that didn't, and it would be a little bit easier. It'd stop right here. But since I just kind of made this one up on the fly, this comes out to 44 over 2. And then because this does simplify out, actually it may, I can't remember, so let me go ahead and finish this out. Negative 4 plus or minus, this is a 4 times an 11 under there. So that comes out as a 2 root 11. And then over 2, and then simplifying those 2's in, I would get negative 2 plus or minus root 11. So that would be the x-intercepts, which I think is probably the hardest part of that whole thing. And that would be negative 2 plus or minus root 11, comma, and then 0, because that's what when we're solving the quadratic formula, we're letting y equal 0 and finding the x's. And then mercifully, the y-intercept is much easier. You just let the x's be 0 up here, and then those drop out, and you get y equals negative 7. So for our y-intercept, that would be at when x is 0, y is negative 7. So that's pretty much all of the features in terms of parabolas. In terms of the story problems in this section, that has these same features. So if there's a question that is asking about a maximum or minimum, that's a vertex problem. You're trying to find that low point or the high point. If it is asking when something splashed down, those are x-intercepts. So if you kind of think of, if it's a projectile motion problem, what that parabola would look like, if you're looking from the quadratic formula. But if you're looking for a max or a min, you get that from that x equals negative b over 2a. That's your vertex formula. So that's those kind of same two ideas, but with words. Hopefully that helps.